Chapter 91 Preparation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ever since the Golden Iron Triangle accidentally met Yuan Changqing and others in the Star Forest 2 years ago, after Yu Shaojiang saw Yuan Changqing cultivating blue-silver grass to the level of Soul Saint, he swore in his heart that he would write a movie about martial arts. A masterpiece of soul, through his own understanding of Wuhuan and his profound knowledge, Yu Shaojiang published a book on Wuhuan to Douluo Dalu in the past 2 years, the 10 core competencies of Wuhuan. After the publication of this book, it indeed caused quite a stir in Douluo Continent, and it did bring a lot of help to ordinary people. However, in the eyes of those sects, families, and other forces, this book is as useless as it is full of loopholes. Moreover, in some schools, many teachers pointed out many wrong theories in this book. After all, if you can be a teacher, you still know a lot about martial arts. Of course Yu Shaojiang didn't know about these mistakes, because no one pointed them out to him, and he still felt good about himself, so he regarded Wuhuan's 10 core competitiveness as treasures and was complacent. Although Yu Shaojiang had read the books on martial arts in the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus family and the Spirit Hall, in the final analysis, it was because he was too weak and had not experienced it personally that such flaws appeared. However, this did make Yu Shaojiang's name resound throughout the Douluo Continent, and he was gradually dubbed the Master. After Lu Erlong stayed at Yuan Changqing's house for a few days, he left and started looking for Yu Shaojiang. Catherine and Wang Yuyan did not try to keep her. In the past few days, Catherine and Wang Yuyan also knew about Lu Erlong, and they also told Yuan Changqing. What they didn't know was that Yuan Changqing had already guessed it. After all, after watching Douluo Continent, he could get a rough idea after some careful research. After Lu Erlong left, Wang Yuyan said, "You guys think, why is Erlong so stubborn? Aren't she and that Yu Shaojiang cousins?" Catherine said angrily, "It's not that Yu Shaojiang doesn't have any responsibility at all. He is really a useless waste. Humph, you'd better not let me see him, otherwise I will beat him to pieces." Yuan Changqing said, "Don't say that. Everyone's personality is different. Let me tell you, Yu Shaojiang can't be entirely blamed for this. Anyone who knows that the person marrying him is his cousin will feel sad in his heart. It will collapse unless, like Lu Erlong, you have a stronger heart." Catherine retorted, "As a man, Yu Shaojiang, can't he be a little more responsible?" Yuan Changqing also asked, "You have also met Yu Shaojiang, so tell me, what was the first impression Yu Shaojiang gave you?" Wang Yuyan said uncertainly, "Taciturn." Yuan Changqing nodded and said, "Yes, when we met the Golden Triangle that time, Flanders was basically the one talking. Lu Erlong also had a good chat with you. Yu Shaojiang basically just stayed aside and said nothing. You guys talk about it. Why is that?" Catherine and Wang Yuyan shook their heads at the same time, and Yuan Changqing added, "Through Lu Erlong's incident, you now know the origins of Lu Erlong and Yu Shaojiang, right?" Wang Yuyan said, "Yes, people from the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family." "Yes, the Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus family. Look at Yu Shaojiang's situation. The malignant mutation of his martial spirit will definitely not be welcomed by the family. Moreover, he is weak and taciturn. I think it has a lot to do with this. Yu Shaojiang, it makes sense to choose to escape. This is also the living environment, which has caused such a character." Yuan Changqing said, "In fact, from this point of view, Yu Shaojiang is quite pitiful. Perhaps because of these experiences, his family was later wiped out, and his heart became more and more twisted." Looking at the two people who were thinking, Yuan Changqing said again, "Okay, let's not talk about this. Lu Erlong's matter is ultimately between her and Yu Shaojiang, and we have nothing to do with it." Through Lu Erlong's incident, Yuan Changqing also confirmed that the Golden Iron Triangle has now been disintegrated. After Lu Erlong cannot find Yu Shaojiang, he will come to Tiando City to establish Lanba Academy, and Flanders will also come. Soto City opens his Shrek Academy. The timeline is not far from Tang San's arrival. According to Yuan Changqing's estimation, there are still 10 years left. In this way, it will only be 10 years before Bibi Dong ascends to the position of Pope, and it will be more than 20 years before Douluo Continent begins to be in chaos. This also gives Yuan Changqing time to develop. By then, he will be able to cope with the situation in Douluo Continent. At least he will not be too passive. Also, Soto City is located on the border, too close to Wuhuan Palace. When Wuhuan Palace begins to expand, Soto City will face Wuhuan Palace. Yuan Changqing also began to consider establishing a family branch base in Tiando City, Blue Silver Village. Yuan Changqing and others returned from vacation again, and the family members also gathered together and began to discuss some things. Yuan Changqing said, "Now our family has begun to develop in the Tiando Empire. Now it has been separated from the busy business. The joint business is on the right track and has dedicated people to run it. My suggestion is that the family establishes a branch base in Tiando City and cannot all stay in Blue Silver Village. There is also a winery. We also need to establish a branch factory in Tiando City to supply the Tiando Empire. The winery in Blue Silver Village will maintain its current scale." Grandpa said, "Changqing, how will you arrange the treasure land in the back hill of Ning Village?" Speaking of this, everyone also looked at Yuan Changqing. After all, this place is related to the future development of the family. Yuan Changqing added, "I have completed all the things needed to set up the formation, and I will start setting up this time when I come back." Dad Yuan Fei said, "I have been in charge of the treasure land for the past 2 years. All the buildings there have been completed. I am just waiting for you to come back to complete the final part." Yuan Changqing nodded and said, "After the layout is completed, everyone can practice inside. I also hope that everyone will focus on cultivation in the future. In the end, only the stronger the strength, the more development and continuation of the family can be guaranteed." Everyone also agreed with what Yuan Changqing said, and everyone nodded in agreement. Yuan Changqing added, "After the family's sub-base is established in Tiando City, people will also be needed to take charge. Originally, I have been in Tiando City, which is also the most suitable. However, I plan to go to Tiando City after I return this time. I will resign from Do Royal Academy and practice with peace of mind in the future, so everyone needs to take turns to take charge in Tiando City." Grandpa said, "That's good. After we have arranged the treasure land, we can all practice well in the future. That's what I'm talking about this time. Starting tomorrow, we will start setting up the treasure formation." Yuan Changqing finally said. After saying this, everyone left one after another, waiting to go to the treasure place tomorrow to see how it was decorated. Dear readers, please add more favorites, recommendations, and support. Please make your first order, please subscribe. Chapter 92 2 Rituals Come True. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Early the next morning, Yuan Changqing's family all came to the back mountain, entered the 7 stars and moon treasure land, and came to the spring in the center. When walking around the spring, Yuan Changqing could feel that the concentration of soul power here was higher than in other places. Yuan Changqing took out the dragon-seeking plate and opened the Eye of Gazing. This Eye of Gazing was due to practicing the art of gazing, coupled with the piercing autumn water dew obtained from the eyes of ice and fire, which allowed Yuan Changqing to awaken the Eye of Gazing. Now that you have the Eye of Hope, you can directly observe with your eyes. You don't need to spend a lot of mental energy to use it like before, which is a lot more convenient. Through the eye of looking at the Qi, I can see the continuous earth Qi from the surroundings coming towards the spring, nourishing this place, just like the legendary dragon veins in previous lives. After finding the spiritual acupoint through the dragon-seeking plate, Yuan Changqing took out the sun and moon essence wheels that had been prepared. The sun essence wheels were golden and the moon essence wheels were silver. Yuan Changqing turned to his family and said, "I'm going to start setting up the formation. If there are any special circumstances later, follow my arrangements." Everyone nodded to express their understanding, and Grandpa said, "Don't worry, Changqing, we will all pay attention." Wang Yuyan and Catherine said at the same time, "Brother Changqing, husband, be careful." Yuan Changqing looked at them and nodded, then turned around and started to set up the formation. I saw the sun and moon fine wheels respectively held in his hands. This sun and moon fine wheel has been carefully forged by Yuan Changqing, and now it also has a hint of spirituality, because when Yuan Changqing forged these 2 pieces of Haoyang gold iron and Hanyu fine crystal, after reaching the 1,000 forging then, his own blood was added. With such a hint of spirituality, the sun and moon essence will has a connection with Yuan Changqing, and with the blessing of soul power, he watches the sun and moon essence will slowly rotate in his hand. Yuan Changqing pushed with both hands, and after the sun and moon essence will paused for a moment, it landed steadily on the spiritual acupoint of the treasure land. The current sun and moon fine wills cannot be used as formation eyes, but due to their different attributes, they are repelled and are rotating at high speed. Upon seeing this, Yuan Changqing knew that if there was no external force in this situation, the formation would most likely fail. Therefore, he quickly increased his soul power through the slightest connection with the sun and moon essence wheels, and worked hard to control them in a two-dimensional manner. Since the sun and moon essence wheels have been placed on the spiritual acupoint, the magnetic field is destroyed due to the incompatibility of their attributes, and the sun and moon essence wheels cannot be allowed to reach the potential of two rights for a long time. Looking at the high-speed rotating sun and moon Jingluan in front, and Yuan Changqing who was controlling it with all his strength, everyone around him was now extremely anxious. Yuan Changqing saw that he could not succeed for a long time and had to use a backup plan, so he quickly took out the Dragon Ball of the Ice and Fire Dragon King. Originally, Yuan Changqing planned to complete the arrangement of the formation on his own, and did not intend to ask the Ice and Fire Dragon King to help. When such a situation occurred, Yuan Changqing also found that he had overestimated himself. Because the Ice and Fire Dragon King is still gestating, and he doesn't know if he can help. Now that there is such a deadlock, Yuan Changqing has no choice but to let the Ice and Fire Dragon King try it. After all, there is a ready-made place like the Ice and Fire Eyes. After taking out the Ice and Fire Dragon Ball, Yuan Changqing pushed the Dragon Ball towards the Sun and Moon Essence Wheel. After the Dragon Ball landed on the Sun and Moon Essence Wheel, perhaps due to the collision of the magnetic field, the Dragon Ball also emitted the energy of ice and fire, following the Sun and Moon Essence Wheel. Start spinning together. The people watching also saw that the two beads were emitting ice and fire energy, accompanied by dragon roars, and the surrounding soul power also began to riot. Yuan Changqing can no longer control the situation on the field. This has deviated from the original idea. Now he can only watch helplessly, praying in his heart that the Ice and Fire Dragon King can be more powerful. When everyone saw this situation, they couldn't help but feel worried. Grandpa came to Yuan Changqing and asked, "Changqing, what is going on?" Yuan Changqing said with a depressed look, "Oh. It's my fault too. I overestimated my own strength. Because of the repulsion of energy, I have been unable to find a balance point, so this is the situation now. Then what should we do now? Looking at this situation, will the treasure land be destroyed?" Hearing this, Yuan Changqing was also distressed. Looking at the situation on the field, if a state of balance cannot be achieved, this treasure land will most likely be destroyed. Now he can only resign himself to fate. Yuan Changqing had no choice but to say, "Let's look at it again. Now we can only look at the two orbs." Yuan Changqing has no intention of revealing the Dragon Ball of the Ice and Fire Dragon King. Now that the family is too weak, there is no benefit in knowing it. Everyone could only wait patiently. With the random addition of the Ice and Fire Dragon Balls, the riot of soul power around them became even more intense. Seeing this, Yuan Changqing quickly reminded everyone, please take precautions to avoid being affected by these energies. The sixth soul skill, Blue Silver Diamond Shield. The fourth soul skill, Double Golden Shields. After hearing Yuan Changqing's words, everyone also used defensive soul skills to protect themselves. The roar of the Dragon Ball is getting denser and denser, and the ice and fire energy is constantly overflowing from the Dragon Ball. Due to the addition of the Ice and Fire Dragon Ball and the high-speed rotation, a pillar of ice and fire soul power energy is formed in the sky above the spiritual cave, and the surrounding soul power is also pulled past. If an energy explosion occurred, everyone present would definitely be seriously injured. Seeing this, Yuan Changqing and others had no choice but to retreat. Yuan Changqing said hurriedly, "Everyone, get out of here quickly and don't stay here anymore." Afterwards, everyone left quickly and came to the exit to continue observing the situation inside. At this time, looking at the situation inside, everyone could only wait anxiously. After an unknown period of time, the ice and fire energy pillars slowly converged and shrank. Then, with the sound of two high-pitched dragon roars, the sun and moon Jing will held the dragon ball holding the ice and fire dragon king fell to the spring and disappeared from everyone's sight. Yuan Changqing and others hurriedly ran to check, and in the end they only saw some waves in the water in the spring. Human boy, this place you are looking for is quite reluctant. The voice of the fire dragon king came to Yuan Changqing's ears. After waiting for a while, I heard nothing more. So, opening the eye of hope, Yuan Changqing saw that this treasure land was absorbing the soul power between heaven and earth, which was more obvious than before. Moreover, the ice and fire energy is particularly active, but it is not as long-lasting as the ice and fire eyes, indicating that this is the ice and fire energy between heaven and earth. As time goes by, not only will this place become more conducive to cultivation, but the plants will also grow faster. Yuan Changqing put away his gazing eyes, breathed a sigh of relief, and said, "Okay, now this Liangyi formation is safe and has finally succeeded." My sister-in-law said happily, "That's great. It will be faster to practice here in the future. As long as you have high spiritual power, you can clearly feel the activity and concentration of the soul power here. The members of Yuan Changqing's family are generally higher than others because of their skills. This time, all the people who came here are Soul Emperor or above people, so their feelings are also very obvious." Dear readers, please add more favorites, recommendations, and support. Please make your first order, please subscribe. Chapter 93 completed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Although there was an accident when setting up the Liangyi formation, it was considered a success in the end. Yuan Changqing also knows that the ice and fire dragon ball and the sun and moon essence are currently in the spiritual cave, assisting the spiritual cave to absorb the soul power between heaven and earth, and he is also nourished by the spiritual cave, and the spiritual cave releases the soul power to the outside world, forming a soul treasure land with high power. Concentration. This treasure land of 7 stars and moon is formed by the convergence of one main vein, and 7 branch veins extend around it, that is, the 7 hills, thus surrounding the spiritual cave and locking the energy here. This is also the reason why the soul power is higher than the outside world. The next step was to set up the yin-yang 5 planets Qin sword formation, and everyone saw Yuan Changqing take out 7 swords of different colors. These 7 swords are in 7 colors: red, white, green, black, yellow, silver, and gold. Each sword also has blue lines on it, which is the reason for the star iron. My sister-in-law deliberately teased, "My dear nephew, there won't be another accident this time, right?" This question made Yuan Changqing feel embarrassed. He didn't know how to answer, so he just looked at his sister-in-law with an unhappy expression. Ha ha ha. Everyone looked at the aunt and nephew and laughed, but this also eased everyone's mood. Yuan Changqing said, "Last time, it was mainly the main formation, and I underestimated my own strength, so the accident happened. This time, with the suppression of the main formation, it is much easier to arrange." Then, Yuan Changqing started to take action, took the dragon-seeking plate, came to the top of a mountain, and began to locate the acupoints. After each acupuncture point was marked, someone would wait there with a sword. After Yuan Changqing ran over the 7 hills, he returned to the spring. Yuan Changqing said to the people waiting at the top of the 7 mountains, "Now I will start communicating with the Liangyi formation. If I call start, you will insert the sword into the acupuncture point I clicked." After everyone nodded, Yuan Changqing began to communicate with the sun and moon essence wheels. Slowly, he saw a 2-dimensional pattern forming at the spring. When Yuan Changqing saw this, he quickly shouted, "Start." At this time, the people who had been waiting for a long time acted quickly and inserted their swords into the designated holes, and the sword began to slowly sink into the ground along the acupuncture points and disappeared. If someone were to observe from the outside at this time, they would see a picture of the 2 instruments in the sky above here, surrounded by the shadows of 7 swords, and the diagram of the 2 instruments in the middle is slowly rotating. After the 7 swords disappeared, the Liangyi pattern in the spring became more obvious. It seemed that there were 7 swords guarding the surroundings. Yuan Changqing knew that the formation was successful. Afterwards, Yuan Changqing started to look at the Qi eye again and checked the situation here. The scene that came to his mind was a picture of 2 instruments and the shadow of 7 swords. Once the formation is completed, it not only functions as a killing formation, but also draws the power of the stars, enriching the energy in the 7 stars and moon treasure land. This is the essence of the stars. Moreover, the 7 swords still exuded a trace of sharpness, which made Yuan Changqing feel the tingling sensation. This shows that if the formation is fully activated, coupled with the power of the stars, as time goes by, the power of the formation will definitely become more and more powerful. Big. Yuan Changqing also said to everyone at this time, okay, this formation is very successful, and it has begun to play the role of the killing formation. You can feel it carefully. Everyone saw this and felt it carefully. Yuan Changqing saw everyone frowning from time to time. Catherine felt the most obvious feeling. After feeling it, she said, "Husband, it really feels like being scratched by something." Hearing Catherine say this, others nodded. Yuan Changqing added, "It's just the beginning now, and the power will become even greater as time goes by." Wang Yuyan asked, "Brother Changqing, won't we also be injured if we do this?" "Ha, of course not. We have just set up the formation now, so there will be a trace of killing intent. Once the formation is stabilized, the killing intent will slowly converge. It will only be revealed when the formation is turned on later. And with the main formation here, we won't be harmed." "Oh, so that's it. I thought it would always be like this." Wang Yuyan nodded. Yuan Changqing said again, "Okay, there is one last formation. After the arrangement is completed, this treasure land will be completed." After finishing speaking, everyone saw Yuan Changqing take out 8 flags and hand them to the 8 people present. These 8 flags were made of the trunks of plant spirit beasts as flagpoles, and the flags were made of silk. The flags were engraved with bagua patterns and some runes. These patterns and runes have been discovered by Yuan Changqing over the past few years. Some are from Feng Shui books, and some are runes from Douluo Continent. These were verified by Yuan Changqing one by one before they were carved on the flags. They were mainly used to gather soul power, as well as the illusion formation and trapping formation. In the past 2 years, Yuan Changqing began to plan the formation to be arranged, so he made some preparations in advance and built 8 buildings in Baodi just to arrange the bagua array. It is also convenient for everyone to have a place to stay when they come here to practice in the future. These 8 buildings were built into tower-shaped buildings in the shape of a trigram. Each building is 1 level underground. This is also where the flags are placed. After the flags were assigned, everyone else went to a tower and waited for Yuan Changqing's instructions. Yuan Changqing also began to communicate with the Sun and Moon Jingluan again at the spring, so that the main formation could be connected to the bagua formation. After the communication was completed, the Liangyi pattern appeared again, along with the sword formation. Now we were waiting for the bagua formation. Yuan Changqing also shouted, "Start." Because Yuan Changqing had given instructions in advance, everyone put up the flags according to Yuan Changqing's previous instructions. At this time, after placing the 8 flags in the predetermined position, they saw the flags standing in the air, the flag stretching, floating and sinking. From the eye of Wangqi, Yuan Changqing saw a rotating bagua pattern with a sword array and a liangyi array on it. I saw that the bagua array carried the 2 formations arranged in front. The liangyi array was the main array and occupied the center. The bagua array surrounded the liangyi array on all sides, and the sword array was suspended above it. Finally, after the layout of the bagua array was completed, the other 2 arrays slowly converged and returned to calm. Everyone inside the tower also sealed the place where the flags were placed with stone slabs prepared in advance to prevent them from being exposed to the outside. Later, everyone came to the spring and met Yuan Changqing. Yuan Changqing said, "Okay, the layout is finally completed. Although there was an accident at the beginning, luckily it didn't fail. The treasure land will now slowly start to work, and the soul power will slowly gather. After a few days, the formation will stabilize. Everyone can come here to practice." After hearing this, everyone couldn't help but cheer for joy. In the future, with this place, they will practice faster. Dear readers, please add more favorites, recommendations, and support. Please make your first order, please subscribe. Chapter 95 Shrek Academy is established. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After hearing what Flanders said, Yuan Changqing also knew that Shrek Academy was officially established. Yuan Changqing asked Flanders, "Your school is located in a village. I'm afraid it's difficult to recruit students. How do you solve this problem?" Flanders was also a little embarrassed to be asked, but then he thought that this was also a helpless move. Ahem, there's nothing we can do about it. There are only a few of us, so let's start the school first. We don't plan to be like other high-level Soul Master colleges, but take the elite route, which can also save some education. Resources. Friend also said some plans. Yuan Changqing nodded and said, "Hey, it's a bit difficult to take the elite route. Students with such talents will not be cultivated according to the elite in any college. You have to have resources but no resources. If you don't have advantages, I'm afraid there won't be any students. I'm willing to go. Also, if you build the school in a small village, if students are willing to come, there may be some hope unless tuition fees are not charged." When Yuan Changqing mentioned these disadvantages, Flanders became even more distressed. Flanders asked Yuan Changqing, "Changqing, do you have any ideas? Can you help me with some ideas?" Yuan Changqing thought about the students of Shrek in the original work. They were either through deception or because Flanders went to some villages to help awaken martial spirits and found some good talents and brought them back. Yuan Changqing directly explained this method and said, "Flanders, it will definitely be difficult for you to recruit students at the beginning. However, you and your friends can go to more remote places to help the children there. After awakening the martial spirit, if there are good seedlings, can't we just bring them back and cultivate them? When you train these children, won't they be the best advertisements? It will be easier to recruit students in the future." After hearing these words, Flanders' eyes became brighter and brighter, and he thought, "Yes, isn't this the last resort? The most is just to work harder in the future." When Yuan Changqing saw Flanders' expression, he knew that this was what he was talking about. Then he said, "How about Flanders? This method is okay." Flanders nodded and praised, Okay, this is a good idea. It can solve our school's urgent needs. Changqing, thank you very much." Yuan Changqing said modestly, No, even if I don't say it, you will still think of it later. I just said it in advance." Flanders added, "It's different, earlier and later. There is still a difference. Even if we can think of it in the future, we don't know when it will be." Seeing the two of them going back and forth, Catherine said, "Okay, that's enough for you too. This seems a bit hypocritical." Ahem. Catherine's words made the two of them feel awkward. Flanders said quickly, "Yes, Changqing, let's not argue about this." Yuan Changqing nodded and said, "Okay, let's not talk about this anymore." Then, he asked, "Have all the procedures for your school been completed? When will the school open? Then we can come to congratulate you." Speaking of this, Flanders said distressedly, "Oh, I was going to go through it originally, but for some reasons, I didn't go through the procedures in the end." Wang Yuyan asked curiously, "Why, if you don't go through those procedures, how can you participate in the high-level Soul Master competition held across the continent in the future?" Wang Yuyan followed her two former teachers, Yuan Changqing and Catherine, and knew to some extent about this competition held across the continent. Catherine also said, "Yes, Flanders, aren't you worried about recruiting students? If you participate in such a continent-wide competition in the future, wouldn't it be the best advertisement?" When Flanders heard these words, he had to explain, "Why don't you want to?" But when I went to go through the formalities, the people from the Ministry of Education of the Kingdom of Balak wanted all the students who graduated from Shrek to join Balak after graduation. The kingdom is willing to handle it for me." Sighing, he added, "You should also know that students have their own choices after all, and we teachers cannot force students. Therefore, I did not agree, and the procedures were not completed." "Ah, this is too overbearing," Catherine and Wang Yuyan said at the same time. Yuan Changqing had long known that Shrek Academy would be like this, and he just wanted to know what happened. Yuan Changqing comforted, there is no way around this. People have to lower their heads when they are under the eaves. If you have the strength, wouldn't it be easy to do these things? You can think of a solution later. Flanders nodded and said, that's all we have to do. Fortunately, at this stage, our school doesn't have to consider this yet. Later, Flanders also announced the opening time of the school and invited Yuan Changqing's family to visit then, and Yuan Changqing also agreed to go. After drinking tea, everyone left separately, and Yuan Changqing also took Catherine and Wang Yuyan back to Ning village. With the existence of the treasure land, Yuan Changqing's family's enthusiasm for cultivation has become even higher. After this period of training, Yi Guang and Yuan Qinlan, who had long been facing promotion, also succeeded in breaking through. They can become soul sects and soul lords after adding soul rings. Afterwards, Yuan Changqing and his uncle took the two of them straight to the Star Forest, and easily completed the addition of the soul ring in a few days. After returning, it was almost time for Shrek Academy to open. A few days later, it was time for Shrek Academy to open. Yuan Changqing also told his family about this last time, and everyone thought they could go and see what Shrek Academy was like. After all, they all know Flanders and are all within Soto City, so it would be good to make more friends. Moreover, Blue's Silver Village is to the west of Soto City, and Shrek Academy in Flanders is to the south of Soto City. The distance is far or near. When Yuan Changqing and others came to the door of Shrek Academy, they saw that Shrek Academy had the same smell that Yuan Changqing knew. After seeing Yuan Changqing and others arriving, Flanders quickly stepped forward and said with a smile, Changqing, and everyone, thank you for supporting us. Before Yuan Changqing could reply, my sister-in-law said first, Hehe, Flanders, your school is really different from other advanced soul master academies. Ha ha ha. My sister-in-law's words not only made other people in Shrek Academy laugh, but Yuan Changqing's family also couldn't help but laugh. Seeing Flanders' embarrassed smile, Yuan Changqing quickly came out to smooth things over and said, Flanders, don't mind what my sister-in-law said, she has such a carefree personality. When Flanders heard what Yuan Changqing said, he replied, no, it's just a favor for your family to come. Afterwards, Flanders began to introduce other people from Shrek Academy. Dear readers, please add more favorites, recommendations, and support. Please make your first order, please subscribe. Chapter 96 Resignation Failed. You are listening at MaleProtagonist. After exchanging pleasantries, Flanders began to introduce teachers from Shrek Academy to Yuan Changqing and others. Flanders introduced to a short fat man, this is Xiao Xin, Martial Spirit Jelly Bean, level 59 Food Soul King. Then he introduced to a man with a mustache, this is Li Yusong, Martial Soul Dragon Pattern Stick, level 51 Attack Type Soul King. Then, he came to a man with some gray hair and introduced, this is Lu Qibin, Wuhuan Xinglua Chessboard, level 52 Control Soul King. After the introduction, the three of them also began to greet Yuan Changqing and others, saying, hello everyone, welcome to Shrek Academy. Hello. Yuan Changqing also began to introduce his family members, and finally the people at Shrek Academy also discovered that except for those who were younger, Yuan Changqing and others were all above Soul Emperor, and Catherine was a Soul Douluo. Flanders was also a little surprised and said, Mrs. Catherine, I didn't expect that after 2 years of not seeing you, you are already a Contra. Your speed is really embarrassing. Catherine smiled and said, Flanders, when you saw me, I was already a level 79, Soul Saint at that time. It's been another 2 years, and it's nothing for me to become a Soul Douluo. Flanders also nodded after hearing this, and said, everyone, please come with me to Shrek Academy. Yuan Changqing said, okay, let's go in and take a look. Then, he took out another card and handed it to Flanders. This card contained 50,000 gold soul coins. It was also a gift for the opening of Shrek Academy. This card is universal in Douluo Continent. I wish Shrek Academy a happy opening. It's disrespectful to be careless. After Flanders accepted the card, he quickly smiled and said, thank you for coming. Later, Yuan Changqing and others also entered Shrek Academy with Flanders. After looking around, they found that the environment here was indeed not very good. After reading it once, Flanders took Yuan Changqing and others to the office to drink tea and chat. Yuan Changqing and others were entertained at noon. After dinner, Yuan Changqing also said goodbye, and Flanders also took the Shrek Academy teachers to send everyone out of the school. Yuan Changqing said, "Okay, Flanders, you don't need to send me away. We are all here in Soto City and we will see you often in the future." Flanders thought about it and said, "Okay, everyone, let's go slowly." After Yuan Changqing and others left, Li Yusong asked Flanders, "Flanders, how did you get to know this group of fierce people? Their strength is incredible. They are still a family, and they are not weaker than some big families." Xiao Xian and Lu Qibin also nodded repeatedly, and Flanders said, "Hey, this happened 2 years ago. You also know what happened to me before. We met in the Star Do Forest 2 years ago." Li Yusong asked again, "That's when you said you met the dark demon tiger?" Flanders nodded and said, "Yes, they also went to the Star Forest to hunt for souls at that time. It was also that time that I met them by accident, and that's how we got to know each other. Then it seems that you have a pretty good relationship. If you have anything to do in the future, you can ask them for help." When Flanders heard this, he patted his chest and said, "That's right. You don't even know who I am, Flanders. I can make friends all over the world." Then, he thought of the card given by Yuan Changqing and said, "Okay, let's not talk anymore. Now that we have opened the school, we will act as we planned. Everyone, please work harder during this time and run more places." "Then what are you doing?" Flanders raised the card in his hand and said, "I'm going to see how many gold soul coins this card has." "TCH. 3 times," he said contemptuously. Flanders didn't care whether he despised him or not. Shrek Academy was short of money now. When he came to Soto City, he checked the gold soul coins in the card. Unexpectedly, Yuan Changqing directly gave him 50,000 yuan. Flanders suddenly burst into laughter. Back at Shrek Academy, Li Yusong and the others saw the smile on Flanders' face and knew that there were a lot of gold soul coins in the card, so they quickly asked, "Flanders, how many gold soul coins are there?" "Hee, with 50,000 gold soul coins, we can finally solve our urgent need." Flanders said happily, "The value of gold soul coins in Douluo Continent is still very high, and it is very powerful when purchased. A common family only consumes 1 or 2 gold soul coins a year," Li Yusong said in shock. "This friend of yours is so generous." Flanders sighed, "Yes, I don't know how to repay this favor." Li Yusong said, "This is your business as the dean. As for what to do with Shrek Academy, it's none of Yuan Changqing's business. The vacation is almost over." After Yuan Changqing returned to Tiando City, he went directly to Tiando Royal Academy. This time he came to prepare to resign. After arriving at Tiando Royal Academy, Yuan Changqing first reminisced with the teachers with whom he was close, and told him about his intention to resign, and everyone tried to persuade him to stay. In particular, Fengzhi, Jilin, and Bai Baoshan were strongly persuaded to stay. The 3 of them will be the 3 chief leaders of Tiando Royal Academy in the future. Now, the 3 of them are still the directors of the academy, but they have also begun to fully participate in the affairs of the academy. Just after the old chief retires, the seamless connection can be made directly. Hearing that Yuan Changqing was going to resign, Fengzhi asked, "Changqing, aren't you a good teacher at school? Why are you thinking of resigning?" Yuan Changqing said, "The 3 directors mainly involved me a lot of time in the college, and I also need help with things at home, so I decided to quit my job at the school." "Is it really necessary to say goodbye?" Yuan Changqing nodded firmly. Seeing that Yuan Changqing was determined to resign, Fengzhi said, "Changqing, if we were like this, you wouldn't have to resign, and there would be no need for you to come to the school to teach. Just be an honorary teacher. Name, what do you think?" Hearing what Fengzhi said, Yuan Changqing thought for a while and thought that this was okay. After all, he had been in Tiando Royal Academy for so many years and lived more comfortably in the academy. Yuan Changqing said, "Okay, 3 directors, since you have said so, let's do it this way." Fengzhi smiled and said, "Changqing, this is the right thing. Although you don't have to come to school anymore, if the college needs your help in the future, you can't refuse. Director Meng, are you kidding me? With the strength of the college, it still needs me, a non-staff member, to solve this problem. Then you think highly of me. Ha, Changqing, of course I'm talking about things within my ability, you can rest assured. Yuan Changqing nodded and said, that's fine. If it's beyond my ability, I won't be able to do it. Meng Xinji said again, okay, Changqing, that's it. I'll take you to go through the formalities first. Then please excuse me, Director Meng. Yuan Changqing also thanked him. Afterwards, after going through some procedures, Yuan Changqing no longer has to teach at Tiando Royal Academy. He just has the name of an honorary teacher in the academy. Dear readers, please collect and recommend more. Thank you for your support. I beg you for your first subscription, and I beg you for your subscription. Begging for a monthly ticket. Chapter 97 Duguxin's Invitation. You are listening at MaleProtagonist. After returning home from Tiando Royal Academy, the whole family was waiting for Yuan Changqing. Seeing Yuan Changqing return, Wang Yuyan asked, Brother Changqing, how are you? Have you resigned? Yuan Changqing nodded and said, it's done, but it doesn't count as resignation. Now I have an honorary teacher name at Tiando Royal Academy, but I don't have to go to school to work. That's not bad. After all, you have been in the academy for such a long time, so it's not bad to have a name. I think so too, so I agreed to the academy's suggestion. Bang bang bang. Early the next morning, while the family was having breakfast, they heard a knock on the door. I'll open the door. Yuan Changqing stood up and said. After opening the door, he found that it was Duguxin and his wife. Yuan Changqing said in surprise, Brother Dugu, I just arrived in Tiando City yesterday, and you came here today. How did you know we were back? Hey, Brother Yuan, it's a coincidence. There was an auction in Tiando City recently. I heard that there was also a soul bone auction, so I thought about calling you in and ask the servants at home to pay attention to your home clinic. Duguxin said. It seems that when we went to the clinic to clean up yesterday afternoon, your servants saw it. Duguxin nodded and said, that's right, otherwise I wouldn't have known that you had returned to Tiando City. That's why I came to your house to look for you early in the morning. After Yuan Changqing found out, he quickly let Duguxin and his wife in, and then came to the living room. Hua Fian saw Yuan Changqing's family still having breakfast and said, Catherine, Yuyan, are eating. Wang Yuyan and Catherine also greeted Duguxin and his wife. Wang Yuyan said, Fei Yan, why don't you come and have some food with us? No, I've already eaten at home. You guys eat first and we'll go shopping together later. Hua Fian refused. Catherine heard about shopping and said happily, okay, we haven't gone shopping together for a long time. After breakfast, Catherine and Wang Yuyan followed Hua Fian and went shopping. Yuan Changqing and Duguxin were the only ones left at home. After making tea, the two sat in the living room and drank tea. Yuan Changqing said, Brother Dugu, you said there was an auction in Tiando City recently. Are there any soul bones? Well, I came here this time just to ask you if you want to take a look. Duguxin nodded. It seems that Brother Dugu is here for the soul bones this time. Do you know the specific situation of the soul bones? Yuan Changqing asked. Duguxin shook his head and said, I only know that it is 10,000 years old. I don't know the specific situation, and the auction house has not announced it in detail. It seems that the competition this time will be fierce. Is Brother Dugu prepared enough for the gold soul coins? Yuan Changqing said with a smile. Ha, of course the wallet is full, otherwise how can we compete? Brother Yuan, do you want to go and have a look? Yuan Changqing replied, Go, why don't you go? I haven't seen what the auction in Tiando City is like. Then he asked, Brother Dugu, how could someone put such a precious thing like soul bones up for auction? I actually got some news about this. It is said that it was obtained by a soul hunting group, and because there was only one soul bone, it was difficult to divide, so in the end we had to decide to auction it. Duguxin explained. Yuan Changqing said, "It seems that this soul-hunting group is relatively united. I have heard of many cases of killing people and selling goods for profit." Duguxin also said with emotion, "Yeah, let's just say that I have tried so hard to find the soul bone but to no avail. This shows how rare the soul bone is. If it hadn't been for the method you mentioned, I don't know when I would be able to find it." Yuan Changqing also nodded and asked, "Did you find out anything else about this auction?" "Hey, Brother Yuan, I promise I won't disappoint you. I heard that there are still female slaves. Brother Yuan can participate when the time comes." Duguxin said a little unseriously. Yuan Changqing looked at Duguxin with some contempt and said, "I think Brother Dugu has an idea. However, brother, I firmly support you in doing this. I will not tell my sister-in-law." Duguxin hurriedly shook his head and said, "Forget it, I can't bear it. I still want to live a few more years." Then, he changed the subject and said, "Then we will meet at the auction house together." "Okay, that's it." Yuan Changqing also agreed with Duguxin's words. Later, Duguxin also told the time and place, and brought an invitation sticker to Yuan Changqing. In front of the auction house, Yuan Changqing took Catherine and met Duguxin and his son. Hua Fian and Wang Yuyan were busy with their own affairs and did not come together. Yuan Changqing saw Dugu Bo and said, "Old poisonous guy, long time no see. What have you been busy with lately?" Dugu Bo was also very happy to see Yuan Changqing and said, "I'm not busy with anything. Apart from practicing now, I'm just studying poisons. After all, I can only deal with poisons in this life." When Duguxin saw everyone had arrived, he said, "Okay, let's go in first. It's not too late to chat later." Everyone took out the invitation stickers and entered the auction house. After finding a seat and sitting down, they started chatting again. Yuan Changqing and Duguxin are located next to each other, in the middle. This is a stepped auction house. After a while, someone else came next to him. When he saw Dugu Bo, he also came up to say hello. When Yuan Changqing saw the person coming, he knew that the person coming was Ning Fengzhi, the master of Qibao glazed sect, and Sword Douluo Continent who was following him. Ning Fengzhi looked at Dugu Bo and said, "I didn't expect that Poison Douluo would also come to participate in this auction." "Ha ha ha, sect leader Ning, judging from what you said, your Qibao glazed sect has a great cause, so aren't you here too?" Dugu Bo said with a smile. "Poison Douluo is joking. Although our Seven Treasures glazed sect is big, we still have a lot of people to support. So, let's see if there is anything we need here." Ning Fengzhi said with a smile. Then, he looked at Yuan Changqing and others and said, "Poison Douluo, are these all your friends?" Dugu Bo nodded and began to introduce them one by one. "These two are Yuan Changqing and Catherine. They are husband and wife and my good friends. This is my son Duguxin. You should also know. Hello, you three, I am Ning Fengzhi." Ning Fengzhi is worthy of being the leader of a sect, and his words always give people the feeling of bathing in the spring breeze. This is the protector elder of our Seven Treasure glazed sect, Sword Douluo Continent. Then Changqing was introduced, and Changqing also nodded. "I've met Sword Douluo Mian, and I've met Sect Master Ning." Yuan Changqing and the others also bowed to the two of them. Changqing heard that Dugu introduced Yuan Changqing and Catherine as his good friends, and observed the three of them carefully, and was a little surprised after seeing them. Then, he sent a message to Ning Fengzhi. "Fengzhi, these three people are not very old, about the same age as you, and their strength is also good, especially the girl, who is already a Contra, and the man of the girl is also a high-level man. Soul Saint, as for Dugu Bo's son, he is also a high-level Soul Emperor." Ning Fengzhi heard Changqing's message and looked at Yuan Changqing and Catherine with even more interest. "Dear readers, please collect and recommend more. Thank you for your support. I beg you for your first subscription, and I beg you for your subscription. Begging for a monthly ticket." Chapter 98 Soul Guide Mecha. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After everyone got to know each other, Ning Fengzhi had a brief chat with Dugu Bo and saw the auction started, so everyone's attention shifted to the auction. the first items to be auctioned were relatively common items, and the bidding was not that intense. Originally, Yuan Changqing came to the auction to watch the excitement, but he didn't expect to find something that interested him. The auctioneer introduced. The thing below is a damaged soul-guiding mecha. The internal core is also broken. According to the client, it was brought out of a ruins. However, although this soul guide mecha is broken, it still has research value. Therefore, the starting price is 1,000 gold soul coins, and each increase in price must not be less than 100 gold soul coins. Now everyone can start bidding. After the auctioneer finished speaking, Yuan Changqing joined the bidding without seeing many people bidding. Yuan Changqing's bidding card was number 21. After deciding to bid, he raised his bidding card. Guest number 21, the price will be increased by 500 gold soul coins. Now it is 2,000 gold soul coins. Is there any increase in price? Guest number 16, the price will be increased by 200 gold soul coins. Now it is 2,200 gold soul coins. Guest number 21, the price will be increased by 500 gold soul coins. Now it is 2,700 gold soul coins. Is there any increase in price? 2,700 gold soul coins, first time. 2,700 gold soul coins, the second time. Is there any increase in price? 2,700 gold soul coins, the third time. Bang! Deal! In the end, Yuan Changqing spent 2,700 gold soul coins and successfully photographed this incomplete soul-guiding mecha. Ning Fengzhi saw that Yuan Changqing had photographed the soul-guiding mecha and asked, Yuan Changqing, are you still interested in the soul-guiding mecha? Yuan Changqing said modestly, Sect Master Ning, it's just a hobby. I think it's good, so I'm going to take pictures. I don't have the money of your Qibao glazed sect, so I can take pictures of these ordinary things. Ning Fengzhi smiled and said, you can't say that. Everyone has their favorite things, and I often take pictures of ordinary things. Then it seems that sect leader Ning must have discovered treasures from these ordinary things. Yuan Changqing doesn't believe everything Ning Fengzhi says. Others don't know the function of your 7-treasure glazed tile pagoda, but Yuan Changqing knows it very well. Ning Fengzhi said that he often took pictures of ordinary things. Maybe some of them were ordinary. With Ning Fengzhi's scheming character, among those ordinary things, he must have detected them through the 7-treasure glazed tile tower and found treasures before taking pictures. It's not as exaggerated as you said. Just like what you said, it's just a personal hobby. Ning Fengzhi felt that Yuan Changqing's words seemed to have seen through something, and he also used personal hobbies to deal with it. Seeing what Ning Fengzhi said, Yuan Changqing also walked down the slope and said, it's good to have a personal hobby, and you can change your mood in your spare time. Sect Master Ning is so elegant. Ha ha ha, Yuan Changqing, let's share our experiences with each other in the future. Ning Fengzhi said with a smile. Catherine, who was sitting next to Yuan Changqing, heard their conversation and felt that it was getting more and more awkward. She felt that they were so hypocritical, so she pinched Yuan Changqing hard. Yuan Changqing felt a pain in his waist, and felt that Catherine was a little confused. He quickly turned his head, but Catherine just smiled. Afterwards, Yuan Changqing found nothing of interest, except soul bones. However, seeing the people in the auction house today, you know how fierce the competition will be. Moreover, there is Ning Fengzhi, a rich man sitting next to him, who can't compete with him. The following is the last lot of today, and it is also the one that everyone has been waiting for. Someone below couldn't wait any longer and said directly, stop talking so much nonsense and quickly take out the auction items. The auctioneer still kept a smile on his face and said, it seems that everyone can't wait, so I won't talk nonsense. The last auction item is a 10,000-year-old soul bone. According to the client, it was obtained from the corpse of a 23,000-year-old salamander. The bidding price is 200,000 gold soul coins. Each increase in price must not be less than 10,000 gold soul coins. Coins, start bidding now. Guest number 6, 210,000 gold soul coins. Guest number 2, 250,000 gold soul coins. Yuan Changqing watched these bidders increase their bids one after another as if they didn't want money. Brother Dugu, how are you? Are you sure you can take the photo? Yuan Changqing asked Duguxin in a low voice. Duguxin shook his head and said, "Oh, I don't know yet. We'll see later. I just didn't expect there to be so many rich people." Yuan Changqing looked at Duguxin speechlessly and said, "Aren't you talking nonsense? The people who can get in are either rich or noble, or some powerful people. There must be no shortage of money behind these people. Brother Yuan, I may need you to support me later. The money I brought today may not be enough." Yuan Changqing said, "Don't worry, there won't be many. There are still hundreds of thousands of gold soul coins. Ever since Yuan Changqing's family started doing business, they have never been short of money. This time they came to the auction house with hundreds of thousands of gold soul coins. Guest number 20, 500,000 gold soul coins. This is Duguxin's bidding number, and he is now joining the bidding ranks. Guest number 8, 550,000 gold soul coins. Guest number 2, 600,000 gold soul coins. Guest number 20, 700,000 gold soul coins. At the end, only the rich and powerful people were left bidding. Ning Fengzhi saw that Dugubo looked determined to win, so he did not compete with all his strength. Otherwise, he would definitely not be able to compete in the end. In the end, Duguxin auctioned off the soul bones. After all, the Dugu family's martial souls had a very important need for soul bones. No matter how much money they spent, they were not as important as the soul bones. Moreover, this soul bone was closely related to the jade phosphorus snake martial arts. The souls are also very compatible, both are dragons. 6.8 million gold soul coins, the first time. 6.8 million gold soul coins, for the second time. Do you need to increase the price? 6.8 million gold soul coins, the third time. Bang! Deal! In the end, it took 6.8 million gold soul coins for Dugubo and his son to obtain this soul bone. Not only did they borrow money from Yuan Changqing, they also borrowed a lot from Ning Fengzhi. After the bidding was successful, Yuan Changqing said, "Old Poison, Brother Dugu, congratulations to you for harvesting a 10,000-year soul bone." Ning Fengzhi also congratulated, "Congratulations to Poison Douluo." Dugubo smiled and said, "Well, this has also drained the family's wealth, but I still have to thank Sect Master Ning. If you also join the bidding, I won't have much to do." "Ha, it's nothing. I also see that Poison Douluo, you are bound to win, so it's not easy to win over others. If you meet me again next time, I won't let you do it again." Ning Fengzhi said modestly. If we don't say that Ning Fengzhi is not a simple person, just from giving in to a piece of 10,000-year-old soul bone, we can see that his scheming is unfathomable, but then again, if not for this, the development of the 7 treasure glazed tile sect will not be possible. So far. Dear readers, please collect and recommend more. Thank you for your support. I beg you for your first subscription, and I beg you for your subscription. Begging for a monthly ticket. Chapter 99 Ning Fengzhi's Temptation. You are listening at MaleProtagonist. After the auction, Ning Fengzhi also invited everyone to sit in the tea house. Afterwards, everyone came to a quaint tea house, and everyone sat together and started tasting tea. Ning Fengzhi said, "Yuan Changqing, I didn't expect you and your wife to be so powerful at such a young age. You will definitely be titled Douluo in the future." Yuan Changqing said, "No, I just encountered some opportunities. I don't dare to think about being a titled Douluo now. I just hope to practice hard and become a soul Douluo as soon as possible. But I think Sect Master Ning is about the same age as me, and his strength is so high now. Ha, it's okay, but I still can't compare to you, Yuan Changqing." Regarding Ning Fengzhi's question, Yuan Changqing also knew that Chen Xian must have seen the strength of himself and Catherine, so he did not hide his strength. Chen Xian said, "My little friend, you are humble. It seems that your strength is not far from that of Contra. It will only take a few years to reach it. And your wife is already a Contra. Fengzhi is right. She does have it. Title. Dugubo also saw that Ning Fengzhi wanted to recruit Yuan Changqing and the others, and said, "My little friend is really good, and he has helped my family a lot. His future achievements will definitely be limitless." Seeing Dugubo standing up for him, Yuan Changqing smiled and said, "Ha ha ha, thank you for your kind words." Ning Fengzhi really wanted to recruit Yuan Changqing and Catherine. Seeing that their relationship with Dugubo was extraordinary, he thought it was better to establish a good relationship first, so, Ning Fengzhi changed the topic and asked, "Poison Douluo, I didn't expect that your relationship is so good." "Ha ha ha, Sect Master Ning, I see what you said. Although Changqing and I are more than a generation apart in age, we have been friends for years." Dugubo also directly said that he and Yuan Changqing were very good friends. Then, he added, "Now my family is doing business in partnership with Yuan Changqing's family and has opened a business." "Oh, really? Is that the one called United Trading Company? I heard that it was opened last year and is developing quite well." After all, Dugubo is a titled Douluo and is in Tiando City, so Ning Fengzhi is not sure about his situation. "Still understand something," Dugubo smiled and said, "Master Ning, if you want to be good, then you have to compare with someone. If you compare with your Qibao glazed sect, there is no comparison." Ning Fengzhi said, Poison Douluo is being humble. Your business has only been developing for a long time. It's great to have such a scale. If I were to develop it from scratch, I might not be able to do as well as you." That everyone just said useless words, and Yuan Changqing felt very uncomfortable with such an occasion. After drinking a pot of tea, Chen Xian said, "Fengzhi, there is something else going on in the clan, we'd better rush back as soon as possible." In fact, Chen Xian was not used to such occasions, so when he finished drinking the tea, he made an excuse. Dugubo also said quickly, "Sect Master Ning, if something happens, you should get busy first, we are also preparing to go back." Ning Fengzhi also invited everyone before leaving and said, "Everyone, if you are free in the future, you are welcome to visit the Qibao glazed sect." Definitely, Sect Leader Ning, Sword Douluo, please go slowly." Yuan Changqing and the other three said at the same time. After Ning Fengzhi and Sword Douluo Qinshin left, Catherine complained, "I don't want to be in that kind of situation anymore in my life. The words you said made me feel like I was wearing another face." Dugubo said, "Actually, I don't like this either, but sometimes it's a last resort." Yuan Changqing and Duguxin nodded at the same time, expressing their deep sympathy. Yuan Changqing said again, "Catherine, Ning Fengzhi was actually testing us just now. Fortunately, the old poisonous man took the words and helped me get rid of the problem. It turns out there's something else going on here. Wouldn't it be better to just say it outright? There are so many twists and turns." Catherine said a little surprised. Yuan Changqing said worriedly, "You just don't want to think too much. If something like this happens in the future, you will inevitably suffer a big loss." Dugubo smiled and said, "Okay, Changqing, you don't need to talk about Catherine, but from meeting Ning Fengzhi today, it seems that the Qibao glazed sect has developed so well in his hands, which is really extraordinary." Yuan Changqing nodded and said, "Yes, and his scheming is unfathomable, just like a smiling tiger." Duguxin also said, "Judging from some of Ning Fengzhi's performances today, this is indeed the case. Otherwise, how would he be able to take charge of the 7 treasures glazed sect with his current strength? There must be something special about him." Dugubo said, "Okay, that's none of our business, so let's go. Changqing, come and sit at my house." After thinking that there was nothing to do today, Yuan Changqing agreed, "Well, we haven't been to your house for a long time." Afterwards, everyone left the tea house and started walking towards Dugubo's house. After leaving the street, we walked on the road to the luxury accommodation area. There were few people here, the environment was good, and it was lined with green trees. Not long after arriving here, I was surrounded by many men in black. "Hand over the soul bones you auctioned today." Originally, soul masters were not allowed to fight in Tiando City, but it seemed that these people didn't care about that anymore for the sake of soul bones. And there are really people who are not afraid of death. They even dare to rob title Douluo. Didn't they investigate the situation clearly before? But think about it, it is possible. After all, Dugubo's family did not live in Tiando City before, and Dugubo lived in seclusion. Since he solved the problem of his martial arts, his appearance has also changed drastically. Another one is that he became a title Douluo not long ago, so not many people know about it. Seeing this, Yuan Changqing deliberately said, "Old Poison, there are really some people who are not afraid of death today. It seems that your title Douluo is not intimidating enough." That the men in black on the opposite side were also confused when they heard Yuan Changqing talking about title Douluo. Dugubo never thought that after becoming a title Douluo, he would be stopped and robbed on the street one day, and he was filled with anger. Then, I saw Dugubo's aura increasing continuously, and the 9 soul rings fell one by one. Title Douluo, run! The man in black on the opposite side was shocked. Knowing that there was a title Douluo, he ran away. Dugubo said, "Run. You want to run now, but it's too late. Just keep them all." The 4th soul skill, Jade Phosphorus Confusion Array. That I saw the mist snake venom released by the green phosphorus snake, forming a fog area, covering the men in black. As soon as it comes into contact, the toxin will enter the body and poison people. The man in black who is now enveloped in it is this treatment, Yuan Changqing said. "Old Poison, don't kill them all, leave a few for us to practice with and increase our experience against the enemy." Catherine and Duguxin also looked eager to give it a try, and Dugubo also agreed. Afterwards, Yuan Changqing and the 3 of them each chose a man in black as their opponent, then activated their martial spirits and fought together. Dear readers, please collect and recommend more. Thank you for your support. I beg you for your first subscription, and I beg you for your subscription. Begging for a monthly ticket. Chapter 100 Battle. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. The people who came to snatch the soul bones this time were pretty good. Although they were not at the Contra level, there were also a few soul saints. The 4th soul skill, Blade Storm. Yuan Changqing didn't think too much and just started fighting. He saw blue-silver grass growing out from all directions on the ground. Countless blue-silver grass vines pointed at the fighting men in black at the same time. The leaves of blue-silver grass were like blade fragments, growing from the vines. It fell off and shot towards the man in black in a steady stream. The 3rd soul skill, the body of a black panther. The 2nd soul skill, Leopard Shadow. The martial spirit of the man in black is a black panther, and he is an agility attack spirit master. Seeing Yuan Changqing attacking him, he quickly launched defensive spirit skills and speed spirit skills, and after he was out of the attack range, he also started to counterattack. The 4th soul skill, Leopard Shadow Claw. The 6th soul skill, Blue Silver Diamond Shield. Tiger Style. The man in black saw the blue-silver grass martial spirit and used his speed to launch a close attack on Yuan Changqing. In an instant, he relied on his speed to reach Yuan Changqing and slashed his sharp claws towards his neck. When Yuan Changqing saw the man in black attacking, he quickly activated his defense. The Black Panther's claws grabbed onto the blue-silver diamond shield and was firmly defended. Because he had learned 5 animals, Yuan Changqing practiced it every day. This time was an opportunity, and he quickly used tiger style to counterattack. I saw that the hands of both sides were constantly colliding. Although the other party was blessed with soul skills, Yuan Changqing's body was also refined into an ice and fire mysterious body through the ice and fire eyes. With the soul power in his hands, he also fought with the Black Panther Soul Master. There has to be a return. The close collision between Yuan Changqing and the man in black also left the two parties with no time to use other soul skills. The Black Panther Soul Master felt that Yuan Changqing was a plant-type Soul Master and would definitely not be able to defeat him in the end. After fighting for a while, Yuan Changqing also discovered the thoughts of the Black Panther Soul Master, and this Black Panther Soul Master was also very scheming. He led Yuan Changqing to slowly move away from the battlefield here, away from Dugubo, so that he could use his speed to run away. After discovering this, Yuan Changqing was not impatient, but was choosing the moment to seriously injure the Black Panther Soul Master with one blow. Bear pose. When the Black Panther Soul Master slowly moved to the battlefield position, he stopped attacking. Yuan Changqing also found an opportunity to directly hit the Black Panther Soul Master with the bear style. The bear style inherits the weight of the bear, so after Yuan Changqing used the bear style to hit the Black Panther Soul Master, the Black Panther Soul Master felt as if a huge force had hit him, and he was directly seriously injured. The fifth soul skill, Sword of Ice. After the Black Panther Soul Master was seriously injured, Yuan Changqing quickly used the soul skill, and saw blue-silver grass growing from the ground, and the vines of blue-silver grass were like a cold sword. Like a sword, if it is pointed at the Black Panther Soul Master, if he makes any move, he will be punished. Yuan Changqing said disdainfully to the Black Panther Soul Master, "You still want to run away with the little trick in your heart." The Black Panther Soul Master realized that he had been seen through and asked, "How did you find out?" "You said that you, an agility-type Soul Master, actually fought me in close combat. This is a bit abnormal. Moreover, during the battle, you have been slowly moving away from the title Douluo and leading me farther away. If you can't see this, wouldn't you be a fool?" Yuan Changqing explained the reason. Then he asked, "Who sent you? After telling the truth, you might still have a chance to survive. I believe that with the strength of your soul saint, you can avoid the person who sent you." That the Black Panther Soul Master said angrily, "Humph, you think I will believe what you say?" Yuan Changqing said indifferently, "Whether you believe it or not has nothing to do with me. You can only take a gamble. Think about it, isn't it good to live? Look at this colorful world, how beautiful it is." That the Black Panther Soul Master is also a soul saint level figure. Of course he will not believe Yuan Changqing's words, and said, "Don't even think about getting anything from me. I won't tell you even if you die. Just go find it slowly, ah. Ha ha. You." Yuan Changqing originally wanted to ask, but just as he was about to speak, he saw that the Black Panther Soul Master had cut off his heart and blood was flowing from the corner of his mouth. Yuan Changqing murmured, "It looks like he's a dead soldier. Alas. You said you were a good agility systems Soul Master and came to fight me in close combat. Aren't you looking for death?" After Yuan Changqing was done with this, he looked at other battlefields and found that Catherine and Dugubo had already finished, and Duguxin's opponent was also shaky. When Dugubo saw Yuan Changqing, he shouted to Duguxin, "Xiner, deal with your opponent quickly. It's time for us to leave, otherwise it will be troublesome when the Huiqin guards arrive." After Duguxin heard Dugubo's words, he defeated his opponent in a few seconds, and then came over to join everyone. From the beginning to the end of this battle, it didn't take long for everyone to easily resolve it. Afterwards, the people who gathered together left the place where they were fighting the men in black. Not long after they left, a group of city guards arrived. Back at Dugubo's house, everyone sat together and talked about it again. Yuan Changqing asked, "Old Poison, have you ever asked who is planning to kill people and gain goods?" Dugubo shook his head and said, "No, originally I wanted to catch him alive, but I didn't expect that after he found out that I was a title Douluo, he was trapped by me again. With no chance of survival, he attacked frantically and desperately. This is what I wanted to do. The rhythm of death. So, I don't want to catch anyone alive anymore. It's obvious that these people are dead soldiers." Yuan Changqing nodded and said, "Yes, the same goes for the soul saint who fought with me. After he was seriously injured by me, he originally wanted to ask something, but in the end he killed himself." Duguxin said, "Father, I think it must have been done by the people in the auction house today. Although we waited in the tea house for a while, to ambush us on the way back, they must have been monitoring us, but they just didn't check. Be clear about our background." Yuan Changqing also said, "Yes, although you, Old Poison, were somewhat famous on the mainland before, your appearance has changed too much in the past year." Duguxin added, "Yes, father, and what's more, since you became a title Douluo, except for one trip to Wuhuan Palace, you have been reclusive and have not been exposed much. Therefore, today's news about these men in black, it's obviously lagging behind. Dugubo nodded and said, then these people are really looking for death, but these people are very courageous. They actually dare to openly kill people and buy goods in the city. Yuan Changqing said, it seems that the power of this person is not small. He can directly send 3 soul saints, so we should not underestimate him. We should pay more attention to it in the future. But, old poisoner, which force do you think this is? Do you have any other discoveries? Hey, it's true. After I dealt with those men in black, I found someone in the distance who was observing them, but I didn't pay attention to them. As long as these people come again in the future, there will always be clues. Yuan Changqing said, that's true, but after they know that you are a titled Douluo, they will definitely not dare to come again. Catherine said, whatever, it's best if you don't come, and it will be less troublesome. If you do come, it will be a good time to see who is behind it. Everyone also nodded, and Dugubo said again, okay, this is all for the future, everyone just be careful in the future. Dear readers, please collect and recommend more, thank you for your support. I beg you for your first subscription, and I beg you for your subscription. Begging for a monthly ticket.